Hello everyone, very good afternoon to very good morning to all the viewers of Unacademy Law. आप सभी का बहुत स्वागत है हमारे August 11 न्यूज़पेपर एनालिसिस में. very good morning to all the viewers and I hope कि you to all the brothers and sisters across the country and across the world a very happy Raksha Bandhan, a festival that transcends across as a bond between siblings. So do enjoy that from the day. Very good morning to everybody who have tuned in live. Very good morning Anupama, hi Pranjali, hi Khushi, hello Abhineet. Very good morning to all of you. I am doing very well. I hope all of you are doing really well too. So let's begin. Let's dive into today's newspaper. So before we do that, if you are someone who is watching me for the very first time, I'm Kushagra Goyal, a graduate from National Law University, a master's in economics, and at Unacademy we have brought in something amazing for all of you. That for students who are preparing for the examination for the long term, there is a special offer for all of you that right now when you subscribe to Unacademy, you can avail additional free months for free of cost. That is, if you subscribe for 6 months, you'll get 1 month free. If you subscribe to 12, you'll get 3. And if you subscribe to 24 months, you'll get 6 months free. So please make sure that you avail the opportunity at the earliest to be participant. And if you want to be doing that along with your practice, the quickest solution to that is the offline scholarship test. This is especially for students across Lucknow. The test will be happening in offline at Unacademy Center, which is at Ward Aliganj Street, and you can enroll for it immediately beginning now. And for everybody else who want to avail Unacademy scholarship, you can participate in the championship mock test of CLAT 2023 and 2024. And this will be your opportunity to join the rankers of CLAT 2022 by enrolling. For dropper students, the new batch begins on August 12th, that is Law Samurai. For students who are preparing for CLAT 2022 examination with their 12th classes, the batch is Let's Crack CLAT and AILET. And for students who are in 11th or 10th class and are preparing for the long term, their batch begins on August 25, for which you can enroll at the earliest. So doing that will provide you with an opportunity to prepare, and beginning early is the best step. And you can do that by also adding to yourself the iconic physical notes that you will receive on your doorstep by using the code KUSHGK. These physical notes, जिनका सैम्पल आप इस QR कोड को स्कैन करके एक्सेस कर सकते हो, is available here. And you can also either choose the plus category subscription, but in plus category subscription you will not get live mentorship plus doubt solving and priority in classes. So if you want those benefits, take the iconic one. The offer of Accelerate, that is additional months, is available on both categories of subscription, so you can choose accordingly. But remember, the code to do that is KUSHGK. Okay, so on that note, if you have any other concerns, you can call us at 85x5, and you can also get updates from our side at Unacademy_CLAT, and updates about my classes will be available on Kushagra Goyal_Unacademy. That is where you can reach out to me. On that note, so the front page is to boost spending. Center releases 1.6 lakh crores to states. Now each month we pay taxes, and each month those taxes are to be divided between center and state. What is this known as? This is known as the divisible pool of taxes. इसे कहते हैं divisible pool of taxes. These taxes are to be divided, we have talked about it multiple times, between central government and state government. So if, for example, you pay 100 rupees of taxes, 40 rupees of those taxes goes to the state government, whereas the central government retains 60% of them. Okay, so all the income tax, all the GST, everything that you pay gets divided. However, what is not part of divisible pool of taxes is cess and VAT. Cess are taxes that are totally within the mandate of the central government, whereas VAT is something that only the state government can impose. Now, however, post GST, VAT can only be imposed on a limited amount of quantity or limited amount of goods, that is liquor and alcoholic products, petrol, diesel, okay, so those, and oil refining units, okay, so those are the limited pool of taxes on which VAT can now be imposed. On the other things, it cannot be any more. Very, very good morning to, in the meantime, very, very good morning to everybody else also. Hi Lovepreet, hi Noor, hi Sita, hello Juhi, very good morning to all of you. If sometimes I'm replying late to your chat messages, it is probably because there is some issue with my YouTube app. I don't know why it happens that the chat messages come a little late. Oh, hi Manalisa. All right, so this is about that. Now, each month the states are to be given their share of taxes, but right now the central government has given 1 month in advance, okay, so they have already paid out till the month of August, even though the August month has not been concluded yet, okay, so this is the thing about that. All right, then we move on. The oath taking ceremony of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and his Deputy Chief Minister Tejasvi Yadav was concluded yesterday. That's the only news. So the new Chief Minister, the Chief Minister is the same but with a new alliance, but we have a new Deputy Chief Minister in Bihar, that is Tejasvi Yadav, okay. Then we move on. Supreme Court to take up plea on ban convicts from polls for life. Now, what is this news about? So, right now, under the Representative of People's Act, let's say somebody gets a punishment, okay, 2 years or more. Let's say somebody got a punishment in 2020. The time period of punishment got concluded in 2022. Now for 6 years from that, okay, that person can then apply for membership of the House again, or can stand for elections once again in the year 2028. अभी तक क्या है कि even if you are found violating any law in the country, the only restriction is of 6 years. The punishment for not or being debarred from elections is only 6 years. This is a restriction. However, a PIL has been filed in the Supreme Court, wherein now on it is saying that, see, for example, I make a criminal mistake, I'll be suspended from my current job forever. उसी तरीके से anybody who is in any profession, if they make any mistake or if they are found to be criminally liable, they are barred from certain kinds of jobs forever. You can't even fly, you can't travel outside, but if you are a politician, all of those things can be done away with. It's like the immunity of politicians that has been given. And this is what the problem is. So the PIL is considering that why should such a thing be there when people of such lower job profiles also get banned for life. So for example, the example cited was of a constable. He loses his job after conviction forever. They can never join that profession again. However, a politician can join a profession 6 years later once again. So this is a problem that the Supreme Court has identified. Right now, the law is that if you get a punishment for 2 years or more, you will get suspended for 6 years from competing elections and post the conclusion of your punishment, okay? This is the status quo law. It applies under RPA 1956, Representation of People's Act, okay? RPA stands for Okay. Then we move on to the news on the right hand side. So this is the important one. We'll have our new Chief Justice of India, but I have reiterated to you that we will again have another Chief Justice. We will have the 50th Chief Justice prior to the CLAT examination at the end of this year. So this is like an interim news for all of you that Justice UU Lalit, Uday Umesh Lalit will be the 49th Chief Justice of India. He will be demitting office on November 8 when he completes his age of 65. Okay. Then we move on. Nothing of note here. None of these national news are of importance. Then we come to the editorial section. Okay. So the main editorial, COVID-19 arguably has become endemic in India. Now, the only thing to be understood here for us is what is endemic. Okay. So, a pandemic is not based on the level of severity of the disease. A pandemic's definition is okay when it is dependent on the spread of the disease. Okay, so when we say that a disease is in pandemic stage, the spread of the disease is high / across the country or across continent. When do we say that a disease has entered endemic stage? We say that the disease has entered an endemic stage when there are limited number of cases that keep coming up on a regular basis, but it is not that the entire population is at risk of getting infected. Okay? Endemic stage is when the spread of disease has slowed down and the risk Alright, this will not mean that the disease or it will not lead to deaths at all. But now we will see it in perspective. Endemic stage hota hai, for example, in India, we have almost 30 to 40,000 people die in India every day. From COVID-19, we may have 30 to 40 people dying every day. So this would mean that now we have started to live with the disease. For example, dengue, malaria, HIV, AIDS, all of these diseases are there, they have not left us, but now we have started to live with them. So for example, somebody gets tested for COVID-19 or you get a flu of that, you will now isolate yourself, but there will be no aggressive contact tracing. Not everybody will have to isolate. It will depend on whether they actually have symptoms or not. Only then those individuals will isolate. So this is that arguably has become endemic in India. But I remember discussing an editorial like this way back in the year 2020 also. At the later stage after the lockdown, the first lockdown had been revoked, similar arguments were made that it could now become endemic. However, back then we didn't have vaccines, we had not vaccinated almost the entire population of the country. So the disease came back in different waves, but now that seems to be a thing of the past. Most of the children also are now getting vaccinated. We are getting precautionary doses also for COVID-19. Okay. So there seems to be low risk from the disease, and that's about it. Okay. Nothing to note down from this editorial, just the spread of the disease. Then Uncle Volte-Face. This is about Nitish Kumar, who is switched alliances from one party to another. He has blamed both the parties at equal times. But the editorial is now saying that this could be the end game. You can't keep on switching and testing the electorate on basis that they will keep on voting for your face irrespective of where you are. Okay, so this is a political one. Then we come to fair and square. This is the one about analysis on the chess Olympiad that got concluded in Chennai and the town of Mamallapuram. This was the 44th edition of the chess Olympiad, the first one hosted by India. It is talking about, so couple of things to note down from this. First of all, these are things we have already done. This Olympiad was to be originally held in Russia. COVID-19 की वजह से postpone हुआ, फिर यूक्रेन की वॉर की वजह से रशिया में कंडक्ट नहीं हुआ. We got the hosting rights in March only. Okay, and the federation managing director, that is Dana Risenze Uzala, उनका नाम आपको नोट करना है. This is the chess governing body that allotted India the chance of hosting this event. We spent approximately 100 crore on hosting the event because of in India we didn't see it as from a larger public perspective. It was not broadcasted anywhere across the country by any major channel. Yet, despite that, it is a huge event that our country concluded as a hosting country. So that is a big thing. All right. That's all to be noted down from this. I made you note down the winners yesterday, Uzbekistan and Ukraine, women's category, Ukraine, Uzbekistan, men's category. India won bronze in both the categories. Our bench strength is strong that we got multiple teams that had a chance of medal by the end day also. Then we come wisdom of the words of wisdom for Congress last Mughal. This is a reference to the Congress party, nothing of relevance for us from an exam point of view. Then we come to the G20. So India will be hosting the 2023 G20 summit. Okay, G20 is a group of the 20 largest economies across the world. There are lots of what happens at G20 summit is basically collaboration, compromise, different committee meetings, how to improve situation, how to make regulations. So this is an article which is saying that a new global vision for G20 is required. G20 is now fractured. There are different economies that are basically divided on different agendas. There is alliances forming, countries are getting segregated on blocks formation. So this is a vision for that policy. The only thing to be noted down here is G20. Remember, G20 has no permanent secretariat, no permanent organization of its own. 2022 summit September end में होगा बाली इंडोनेशिया में. (2023) समिट होगा इंडिया में. सिटी अनाउंस नहीं हुई है अभी. ओके, दैट्स द डिफरेंस. ऑल राइट. Then we come on the right hand side, the grammar of VIP security. If checks are carried out before the arrival, access to control is ensured, assassinations are largely preventable. This is talking about the larger situation of VIP protection, how to ensure that the risk to their lives is reduced with ensuring limited damage or limited inconvenience to the larger public, nothing of note. Then we come to BSNL's distress call answered but towering issues prevail. So BSNL has been given a revival package to become profitable by 2027. Will it be able to recover from it? It has been making losses for almost a decade. So will the government finally be able to overturn it? That is the test that the public sector undertaking now faces. The problem is that despite making losses for such a long time, the government only took keen interest in reviving it from 2019 onwards. So after almost a decade of losses, we took note. So to reverse that trend, it will take time. However, the timeline is very steep. Within 5 years to become profitable, when larger companies such as Vodafone India, which is a private run company, is itself making losses. Our telecom sector is in losses because of the lowest data rates that we have. India has the lowest data rates across the world. Nowhere in the world is data so cheap. This is primarily because of the loss-making telecom sector. In India, Jio, almost all telecom companies had been making losses. Jio very recently, last year only, became zero loss, zero profit. So for almost 6 years, they had been running on losses to ensure that they receive a subscriber base. So it has been a race to the bottom approach in our telecom sector, which has bled investments. It has reduced the service quality in India. Data in India, despite being cheap, is the slowest. In 4G speeds, we have the slowest data speed across the world in major economies, so it will take time. Then we come, so nothing to note. Then we come to the new US bill on climate action. We talked about it. So US Senate has passed a new bill that is in Inflation Reduction Act. This is a climate bill. Basically, new tax credit benefits will be provided to people from switching from carbon vehicles to electric vehicles. Similarly, new benefits will be provided to individuals making changes. It will also give better access to companies that are right now engaged in fossil fuel energy, that is oil and gas, to switch towards more renewable energy investment. So those are the things that this bill is about. The size of it is way less than the commitment that US actually needs to make. However, it's a start. We don't get questions about US domestic policy, so we'll skip this, nothing of note here. No point wasting our time too much on this. Then we come to the uproar over electricity amendment bill. So this is the new law that the government has proposed, not yet passed, but is being proposed to have been. Last year also it was brought in, but then withdrawn. This year again it has been proposed, but we'll see what happens to it. Okay. So what are the changes that have been brought in? So the changes are, first of all, criteria for electricity distributors. The amendment empowers central government to prescribe this criteria. अभी तक क्या था कि electricity is a domain of state subject. However, with this bill, the central government will have the power of power distribution. कि who will get the contract? So the central government can decide कि electricity production कौन करेगा हमारी country में. They will be the one to decide this. Okay. Similarly, the second one is that now multiple distribution licenses can be given. Now, abhi tak kya tha? For example, in your city, you may have electricity from only one supplier. But now there could be competition. You could choose between, let's say, ABC company for electricity or XYZ company. This is a domain which will allow only benefit such companies that are engaged in electricity production also, because the cost of maintaining such a large apparatus doesn't happen overnight. So those companies that are already within production and distribution, those private companies, namely 2 of them, will benefit from this specifically, because nobody else has the wherewithal. So somebody needs to enter the market, establish the cost, have that much capital. So which is why it is being seen as a problem, because it will allow multiple distribution licenses in the same area. Okay. So those are the 2 problems, and then it will also be causing damage to cross subsidy balancing fund. So abhi tak kya tha, if government is producing, generating and distributing electricity, there was cross subsidy. So सरकार अपनी एक पॉकेट से पैसा निकाल के दूसरी पॉकेट में डाल रही थी. However, now that the channels will be segregated, if the government is not there in all the sectors, this will lead to a reduction. It could mean that the prices of electricity will go way up. Okay. And that is the risk that is being seen here. All right. Then we move on to understanding the Taliban. These are books on how to understand, nothing of note. Then we come aviation safety regulator opens doors for transgender pilots. Now this is, now that finally a complaint was filed in by Adam Harry. He is a transgender pilot. He was denied the DGCA license. However, after his complaint, now we have become gender neutral in pilots. So we may have a future where anybody, whatever be their sexuality or gender, could be pilots of the Indian commercial aircrafts, which is a positive step in inclusion. There could ideally no area of employment should be away from anybody else. They should be there for all of them, open to all of them. So this is a step for that. Okay. Then we move on to this. Credibility of UN sanctions regime at all-time low. Ruchira Kamboj, who is India's permanent representative at United Nations, she was delivering a speech on criticizing the double standard. So for example, somebody says that Afghanistan and Security Council agreed that we will not have terrorism from our lands. However, couple of months later, we find out that a terrorist was being harbored by the government. So that is where the UN sanctions, the belief that UN sanctions can actually work becomes very low. Similarly, North Korea has been sanctioned for not having nuclear weapons. However, they have continuously been able to expand their nuclear program. Those are the risk or the credibility of UN that is being questioned here. Okay. All right. Then we move on. More political news, nothing of note for us. Then the government approved another vaccine for precautionary dose. This is the Corbevax vaccine, which is also known as Novavax. This is also being manufactured by Serum Institute of India. It can be given after completion of 6 months or 26 weeks from date of administration of the second dose. Okay, Covishield और Covaxin के बाद भी आप किसी को Corbevax vaccine दे सकते हो. This is something that the government has now approved for precaution dose of COVID-19. Okay. Then we move on. Center says buying flag is voluntary. Video of forcible sale of flag went viral. This is after complaints, nothing of note for us. Then India, Australia to sign film treaty. This will allow better coordination between the two countries for films, nothing of note again. Then Donald Trump being questioned about his role in his business, whether tax evasion, federal crimes of ex-president of USA being questioned repeatedly on different violations of federal laws. Investigation ongoing, nothing of note here. Then Taiwan drills conclude, China affirms reunification pledge. This is something we have already talked about. Military drills that China conducted after the visit of Nancy Pelosi. This is also Taiwan launched counter military drills to show that they are not about to be bullied. This could become the next step, or the new normal is what is threatened. Okay, that the Taiwan Strait could become a place for continuous tension regularly. Okay. Then we move on, nothing of note for us here. Then on economic side also, US inflation slows from 40-year peak. This is after rise in interest rates by the US Federal Reserve, which has been causing a damage to the Indian stock market. So this is the risk that was pointed out, nothing of note for us. Then we move on, more analysis from the Chess Olympiad. This is the winners from both the categories, the men's team and the women's team of India, nothing of note. This is return of Commonwealth players from, and then congratulations notes for Serena Williams, who is about to retire from tennis. That's all for us. So see, this is also an example that's on certain days the newspaper will not have content for news. Okay, so only the new news in the newspaper for us today. Okay, mostly the editorials also are something that you can skip. The overall notes in the newspaper are very limited for us. Okay, apart from the Electricity Act. Nothing of note in the newspaper from our side. Alright, so on that note, I'll conclude. I'll also be telling you that we will be taking a short vacation this weekend. That is, there will be, as you all know, that 15th and 16th August, anyway, the newspaper will not come. Okay, we will not have the newspaper analysis on those days. But I am taking a break from this, and there will be no analysis on the 12th and the 13th also. Okay, so a 5-day break for all of you from newspaper analysis that will be happening, because 16 को newspaper नहीं आएगा, and 12, 13, 14, 15 I have taking a break. So this is like a break that I am announcing. Don't worry, we will conclude whatever we miss out, whatever be. I'll be taking revision classes on 17th and 18th. So a break will be there, and there will be revision classes on 17th and 18th that I'll be taking up. Okay, 17th and 18th ko August we'll do revision sessions to cover the news. So if you also want to take a break before you begin your dash to the finish line for the examination, you can do that. So we'll have revision sessions for the month on 17th and 18th, but we'll take a break from 12th to 16th. Okay. On that note, take care everyone. Once again, very happy Rakhi. Note down all of this, and there will be sessions of Freedom series that will be going on till the August of 14 that you can attend. And on 14th August, there is Unacademy Legal Adalat that will also be happening. You can participate in that. To stay connected and be updated about classes, you can connect with me through my Telegram channel, that is Kushagra Goyal _Unacademy. On that note, take good care of yourself, and if you have liked the analysis, do give it a thumbs up, and do subscribe to the channel for further updates. Take care everyone. Bye-bye.